Welcome, everybody, to episode 19 of For the Hoard of the Dragon Queen. We are here trying to summon back Tiamat from Avernus. Is that what we decided? I always forget. She was banished, and these happy cultists just want to bring their five-headed dragon goddess back, as one does. Before we dive into it, let's do a quick round of introductions. Mick, why don't you start? How's it going? Tell us who you are and who you're playing today.
I am Mick, and I'm playing Chris, the drow rogue who likes to steal things.
Perfect. And Janelle, how about yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Janelle, Boss Jellybean, and I am playing Ashrin Lorelen. She is a paladin of Tiamat and emissary to Neo Vane, the green worm speaker.
Yay! And Adela, how about yourself?
Hello, I am Adela. I'll be playing Aster, who loves to cook, who's a little bit naturey, and maybe not so much Tiamat, but we'll see how that goes.
Perfect. And last but not least, Mika, how's it going?
Splendiferously. I am playing. I am Mika, and I am playing Lemon Zest, who is reluctantly a warlock of Tiamat. He just really wants his inheritance, and he has to put in his time.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, we haven't really talked about this. Does Lemon Zest even know what his inheritance is? Or does he just know he has an inheritance?
He just knows he has one. It hasn't crossed his mind that inheritance could still be very much tied to Tiamat. And could just be like a special weapon that only warlocks of Tiamat can use or something.
Right?
Has not crossed his mind. And that's probably what it is.
I love it. Awesome. Hey, I'm Jeremy. I'm going to be the GM for this game today. You can find me on the interwebs, all of the socials at WH Pubs. Also, if you would like to know what's going on with this channel, you can head over to whpublications.com/events to subscribe to the calendar. And that way it's always updated for what we have going on, which there's a bunch of things this week and coming through the rest of the month. Excited to tell you more about that. But today, right now, we're going to jump back into where we were. We kind of, it wasn't even a cliffhanger. We just stopped mid-conversation because it was time to do so. You all are in the lair, maybe? The den of a brown dragon called Tyrannaxis, currently going by Nax, as he has taken on the form of a orc chef who's been wandering around making some stew that you have just had for lunch, that you're currently eating for lunch, actually. He is draped in nothing but a heavy leather apron and a white chef's hat, as he sits across from, I believe he's sitting across from Ashrin, and everyone's kind of at this table. You notice that his eyes are rather reptilian in nature, speaking to his true self as opposed to his current form that you weren't... I'm pretty sure Ashrin had it figured out pretty quick before even meeting him, but... That being said, kobolds sit at various tables around you, enjoying their own stews. As you were partaking of this stew, you've been conversing about pretty much the competition of Neverwinter's Top Chef, and how he is apparently a regular competitor there, and is returning in 2 days to partake once again. He's been eyeing you all as you've been eating this stew, and you do know that there was a purple spice that he had been adding to it. Aster had tried the spice just straight maybe a little too much of it, and had to almost experience the truth of the universe before Ashrin removed the effect with her divine magic. So as he stares at the lot of you, so what do you think? Is it good? Do you like it?
I mean, it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Is everybody making a stew? Is this the stew portion of a competition, or could they be making, like a chili of some sort?
Well, yeah, so there's we get a generalized menu, and so this is one of the courses. This is like the second course. It doesn't have to be a soup or a stew, but that's what I'm going for.
It's absolutely divine. I love it. I mean, I would love to hear all the spices besides, the spice, which also we should talk about that later. But yeah, do these guys know that you're a dragon?
These guys, the kobolds? Or...
I mean, everybody...
I mean, I don't think everybody knows I'm a dragon, but it's not really that hard to discern. He just kind of like winks at you with his rather reptilian eyes.
We were wondering if your bracelet breaks the no magic rules of the competition.
That's actually a really good question. It took some discussion with Lord Neverember to kind of like work that caveat into the rules, because there are many shapeshifters who enjoy taking part in it, but some of them and other creatures, but not all of us are able to take humanoid forms that really fit into a human kitchen, or at least a humanoid kitchen. And it was much cheaper and cost effective to allow us to use these bracelets. These are specific. This was given, like, these are given to competitors. Rather than making dragon-sized kitchens or, kitchens for beholders and such.
That's amazing. There's even like a little logo. Is it like the logo of this competition?
Could we back up just for a moment? Beholders?
Oh,
there are beholders in this competition?
There have been, yes. I don't believe Xanathar is in this year's competition, but they're not really, the finalists aren't really announced until we show up.
Okay.
What's a Xanathar?
Oh, Xanathar is a beholder. He's quite crafty in the kitchen. I almost lost to him the year he and I both competed, but fortunately, his try to think of something that he would have made that is just not coming to mind. He burned it.
All I can think of is something with the goldfish.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a course where fish was required to make, and he just he kind of botched that really bad. There was something, he was crying a lot. I don't know why. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm trying to silence a voice. Right, but like, what's a beholder?
I don't want to say imagine your worst nightmare, because it's not necessarily that bad, but imagine a big blob of amorphous flesh with an eye and a mouth, and then instead of any arms or legs, it just floats around, right? And then it has stalks that come out of it that have more eyes, and those shoot rays of magic out. That was the whole thing. We had to make sure his entire kitchen area was subdued with magic to make sure he wasn't using any of his eye stalks to cheat.
Asherin is gonna put out her hand and make like a projection of a beholder, using minor illusion, and just be like, "This."
Oh yeah, that's pretty close.
You couldn't have done that. Like that would have been so much simpler. Thank you.
Some things are better left to the imagination, but I do appreciate the.
No, I would prefer an image so I know to avoid one.
It
Yeah,
sounds like if there is one in the competition, it's going to be wearing a similar bracelet.
Correct. Yeah, it'll at least appear to be wearing a bracelet, as it does take on a humanoid form.
So what happens if this bracelet is removed?
Oh, we go back to our normal self.
Are there ever any problems when people lose the competition? Do people like freak out?
There have definitely been moments where maybe some people were sore losers. He kind of grins. But for the most part, you know, just being chosen to be in it is a great honor.
We've heard about the one that should not be named. Who is that? And like what went on between you two?
So his face, which has been kind of like open and like curious and inviting, and just kind of goes stone cold, and he just kind of stares at you for a moment. Her.
Is this like a former lover situation?
No, I would never.
Insight check.
Sure, go ahead and roll that.
Same,
Can we do group insight on this one?
Sure.
Yeah, because mine
That's
is
a
not very
19.
high. So
That's a 19 on the dice. -1 for 18.
yeah, I just got 12. But
What did everyone roll?
Yes. Oh, I rolled physical dice. I meant to.
I rolled.
What did
yeah, I rolled 2.
What did Aster get?
I got a 13 or 22, depending on advantage or not.
Oh, no advantage, just whatever the first one is.
Okay, 13.
And Mick. So I'm heading over to Roll20 so I can look at rolls. Also with 13.
Also a 13.
You know, he's really hard to read. There's something about those reptilian eyes that just kind of like hide emotion as he seems to be telling the truth.
Okay. Well, let's ask this. Would you say that she, the one you don't get along with, is a decent cook?
Wait, so it's not a lover situation?
We can't tell.
Oh.
He kind
in
of
my
glances
head canon,
around.
in my heart, it is though.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Changed from that.
Like,
Thank you,
have ever
Stacy, for
just
that
wanted to
puppetry, by the way.
strangle
I
her?
will deliver that.
And then maybe kiss her at the same time.
Right?
Smooch. Smooch, you totally love her.
You lost to her. You want to kiss her.
You want it? You want it?
It's cool. We're adults. This is fun.
Right? So he takes a moment and just kind of like looks around the room. You get the idea he's eyeing where the kobolds are, and in a hushed tone he says, "She's probably the best cook I've ever met. She has a way of making spices and things just completely unique and climb onto your tongue like magic without using magic. I don't know how she does it. She's actually mastered using the purple spice in a way that I just can't seem to. But that being said, she's also my rival, my top nemesis in this competition. And if it weren't for her cinnamon rolls last year, I had that competition cinched.
Hmm.
And then she
That sounds
swept
so
me
complicated.
in the dessert.
That sounds really complicated. Is she also a shapeshifter?
He leans back. Let's just say she has the ability to, but is not allowed to for this competition.
Ah, I see. So, like in your true forms, the two of you, if you bumped into each other, couldn't accidentally just give each other a big hug.
In my true form, giving humanoids and people of your size hugs is a little awkward and
Sure.
tends to end in either being maimed or death.
Squishy bits.
Right.
Okay. I think we've learned a lot from you already.
Just so you know.
Is there any deal that can be struck between us of maybe assisting you in this competition? And if there is a victory against your rival, that we could come to some accord about Tiamat's Hoard and potentially aiding us.
He looks thoughtful for a moment, and while he looks thoughtful, I just want to say that Lemon Zest has an advantage granted to him by chat, so make sure you mark that down and use it when you would like to, Mika.
I'm going to put that on my character sheet. Heroic inspiration. Heck
Hooray.
yes.
Okay, so he thinks for a moment. And you're sure you're not part of, the whole Draco Lich weird thing? 'Cause,
No.
they almost had me in the living forever part, but then once I learned that you don't have like a tongue and you're just like a skeleton, it really removes the whole eating and enjoying food and all of that, which is kind of, I forego learning a lot of magic that my kind does in exchange for spending a lot of hours in the kitchen, I'll be honest, but didn't really want to give up the flesh for that.
No, currently our strategy is to simply acquire all of the dragon masks and then release her from the Nine Hells. So
And you all,
nothing with the Draco Lich angle.
and you all feel like this would be a beneficial thing for the world.
Oh, of course, yes.
You ever met Tiamat in the world?
I've
Yeah.
been spoken to.
Once. It was kind of scary.
I guess I should say, have you ever met her true form in
Oh, no.
the world?
No,
Thank
because
God.
that's locked in Avernus.
Right.
But we
Yeah.
Sort of established.
And
that.
there's kind of reasons for that. You all know that, right? Like her being physically in this plane is maybe not conducive to your health.
What do you mean?
We're not really here to go into, belief systems and all that. I guess I don't want to overstep my bounds. What do you have in mind?
What was I sent to get?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, what was I sent by Neurovein to get from this guy?
Oh, so either to get tithes, like donations for the Hoard, and even better would get him to swear allegiance to Tiamat.
Okay. Then yeah, I think Ashton would just be like, It doesn't have to be anything very complicated. We could just take a donation, or as many dragons as we can get to swear allegiance to Tiamat is ideal and helps our efforts.
And what would it be that you were offering for this?
To ensure your victory in the competition.
So our teams are pre-selected, and we can't really go changing that, but I'd be curious as to what you could offer. I just feel like maybe, like the stew, for example, this is probably the best stew I've made in a long time, if not ever. But I feel like it's missing something, and I can't. You know, the kobolds always tell me that they just, you know, they love everything. I feel like they're very what's the word? Maybe afraid to tell me otherwise. I try to be, you know, the most welcoming boss possible, but sometimes they do get a little worried about telling me that, you know, maybe they don't like things, or like they've had too much ice cream when we're trying to taste test for the ice cream. That can get super messy, just so you know. Don't force feed a bunch of kobolds ice cream.
Noted.
A couple hours later, it's just not good.
You did mention that your weakest part of the meal is your dessert.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. I'm more of a cook than a baker.
Well, lucky for you, and Astrid, like, it's Aster on the back is like, Aster's quite the talented chef when it comes to candies.
Candies.
Absolutely. I'd love to be involved in that. Also, is there any possibility that Aster can try again now that she knows what the mystery spice is all about, to like help add a little extra flair to the stew?
Go ahead and make a, let's call it a nature check.
Okay.
Nice.
Not shabby. 18.
So with an 18, as you've been eating this stew, you've actually noticed that there is it's almost like a glitter that's inside of it. Like, as you stir it, it moves, but then you realize that, like, it's moving like through the meats and vegetables and stuff. Like, it's almost separated in reality just slightly. You get the feeling there's definitely the spice in this stew, and there's something about cooking it that reduces or removes that kind of narcotic mind affecting ability. If there were a way that you could figure out how to... So listening to what he has said, it seems like she who must not be named has a way of like preparing it so that it does affect how you maybe perceive food, or something. It doesn't completely lose its benefit. Like it's you don't feel like it gets you high from what he explained, but there's something about it that does remain and alters how you perceive the food. If you could figure out how to do that, that would probably help him.
Is this like that stuff that you put on your tongue and then everything tastes different? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I think I do know. I just don't know what it's called, but
I don't know what it's called either.
Kind of, yeah.
So if we do some reconnaissance and we find out how she prepares this stuff, would that be worth allegiance? Or at least a token of your gratitude? Maybe like 5 amazing meat pies for the 5 heads.
Why don't you do a persuasion check at advantage?
I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be getting gold, gems, and things of monetary value as donations.
What is more valuable than the most deliciousness on your tongue? She would love it.
So you, Ashern, you have this like vision of the Well of Dragons, and like these meat pies essentially just set out, and like you're trying to coax Tiamat out, and like her heads just slowly peek out and sniff the meat pies. Nom, 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 nom.
Delicious.
So go ahead and do a oh, I see it there. Never mind. I'm concerned about cheating. Not that it would be cheating necessarily, but you know, I've never sent my kobolds to spy on her. It's her own recipes. I don't want to, you know, be caught to be a fraud and not making up my own stuff. I do wonder what her method is for preparing things, but there's obviously something that I'm missing.
Oh, you're so honorable. Man, if you guys could cook in a kitchen together, that would be so epic to have you both together. That'd be amazing. Think on it.
He does look a little sour for a moment. He's like, we won't go into the Top Chef of I can't remember what year this is. 1490 something?
1492.
1492?
Tiamat sailed the ocean.
Sailed, right? He mentions a year several years ago. You get the feeling that maybe that had been a thing. One of them, he doesn't say which, but they had been partners in the kitchen. Where that led.
Some steamy nights in the kitchen. Whew.
None of us have the identify spell, right?
I do.
I'm wondering if you identify the spice, if that would help give the properties of what might
That's what I
work
was thinking.
with cooking it. I don't know.
I'm going to get back to the kitchen. Let me think about your offer. I'll be honest, my heart and soul really belongs to another. But I've been known to make donations. Really, it was to get them to leave. You know, it was kind of like, you know, door-to-door salesman in the past, when those from the Tower of the Talon would just come down here and be like, hey, do you want to be a Draco Lich? And I'm like, nope, still don't want to. And I would just send them away with, you know, whatever gold I had on hand.
Okay.
If that's what you prefer to do, that's also fine.
Let me think about that. Kitchen crew, clean up in 15 minutes, and I'll see you there. And he gets up, and as he walks away, you realize he's still not wearing pants or anything. He's just got his apron on. Heads off. What do you all do?
Aster starts laughing just because, you know, the no pants. Like, it's just funny. You know. Aster thinks of like little kids and their little buns. That's just too funny. We should figure out this spice. I personally want to know about it. So let's I don't know. Who wants to help me with that?
I'll help you.
I can help. I just don't know
Okay.
how I could possibly assist in it, but
And just for you lore junkies out there, it is 1489. This module took place in 1489. So he would have said like 1483. Don't mention the Top Chef of 1483 to him. Apparently it was a debacle.
And that's why we need it televised.
Exactly, right?
All right. Well, Aster is going to try and get her hands on a little vial of this spice.
Okay.
So she's going to, if there's a cobalt that she recognizes or just anybody, be like, hey, you know, can we get our hands on a little bit of this purple spice? refined purple spice. We're supposed to be doing testing now.
Yeah, you see Cobalt, the bluish kobold, walking by. He's got a stack of bowls, heading over to looks like a large wheeled cart where he's placing them. And you mentioned that you need some. Yeah, I can totally get you some of that. How much do you think you need? Like, it's not that we have like a limited supply, but we try not to give out too much of it.
Oh, fair. Just a little, cup of it.
Oh yeah,
so.
that I can do. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool. Are you going to be here? Or are you? Sometimes like people like to take napsies afterwards. That it was quite filling. I would like a napsie, but I'm on cleanup crew.
Fair enough. Aster's gonna turn around and look at everybody. What do you guys want to do?
Well, it seems like we need to figure out the situation with this spice, but also he needs a dessert recipe. So I don't know if you want to give him your candy recipe, if you don't mind doing that.
Oh, I don't mind at all. And I actually have it written out because I do give the recipe out in every town to their healer just to spread the wealth a little bit. So it's not fully coveted. It's just here. So I'll go ahead and give him the candy recipe and ask him if he can make a couple of versions of the candy, but then modify the recipe to make into let's say a scone and a cake as well.
Gotcha. So you hand that off to Cobalt. You see Cobalt go over. Looks like Drizzt is finishing up her stew. She looks very thoughtful. She's sitting by herself. She's kind of doing that, you can tell that she's holding the stew in her mouth and kind of moving it around on her tongue. And she just kind of shakes her head. Obviously, it's not quite right. And he says some things to her. She glances over in your direction, Aster, and she looks at the recipe and she shrugs and takes it. And after Cobalt takes her empty stew bowl and wooden spoon, she gets up and leaves the room with your recipe.
I mean, I'm okay with that. We just need to get that spice and then figure out what we're going to do.
Were you planning on waiting here for Cobalt to bring that back, or did you want to tell him to meet you elsewhere?
Let's see if there is there a test kitchen that is not as busy that we could just go to?
No, but you got the feeling that the compound that you're in under the dome of purple and tan glass is largely that one very large kitchen. They are cleaning up. You might be able to use it if you're not in the way. But are you gonna ask anyone if there's
how about Aster's just going to kind of look around the area and see if there's just kind of a spot that not a lot of people are sitting at, and tell Cobalt that we're gonna meet him there.
okay
at a table.
Gotcha. In this dining room? Because a lot of them are just kind of vacating. It looked like a lot of the cleanup crew were heading towards the kitchen. A lot of the other ones, they're kind of rubbing their bellies, which are slightly swollen, and just kind of heading off in a direction that you had seen those dormitories.
Okay. Yeah, just bring it back here and we'll figure it out.
Okay, will do. While you wait, or during this process, is anyone except for Aster staying here? Or are you doing anything else?
I think I'm probably gonna just watch what Aster's doing.
Okay.
And kind of just see if I can help at all.
Sure.
I don't know. But yeah.
What is Chris up to?
I think I will look and see if there is anything worth stealing in this kitchen area.
In the kitchen?
Yeah.
Go ahead and we'll call that investigation.
Okay. Investigation.
Okay. And
Got a
are you
15.
being sneaky as you move through the kitchen, or are you just kind of wandering around because like you've been allowed to be in there?
I think I'd be sneaky.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth as well.
Okay, 21.
Nice stealth. Okay, so looking around, you see a lot of utensils. A lot of the things are wood. You do see utensils that are made of metal, some that are definitely nicer than others. There are a couple of like golden whisks, for example, that are very finely crafted. There are a lot of knives, but it seems like there is a knife set that's made from like that Damascus type steel where it's like very whorly looking. There's like whorls of the color through it. You know that would likely fetch a good price. You notice some other objects around. Actually, no. I'm going to take that back because you did a detect magic and I said there was nothing magical in here. So, yeah, looking around, you don't see anything that's like really valuable in here, but some of the kitchen equipment is definitely pricey.
Okay. I guess I will take the knife set.
Okay. Whew. You're just kind of waiting for a moment when the cleanup crew isn't looking, and you can see Nax is walking around at the far end of this area. He seems very interested in this piece of paper that Drizzt had given him, and he's kind of muttering to himself, his deep voice kind of carrying through, and you take this opportunity to just kind of swipe the knife set into your bag. You look around, no one seems to have noticed you.
Okay.
While pilfering is going on, what is Lemon Zest up to?
I guess he's also just staying in the kitchen, or no, I think he's wandered off.
Okay. So you just kind of wandering the
Just checking
complex?
out. Yeah, checking it out, talking to the other kobolds, maybe cobalt or something. Just
Is there anything that you would
living
like
his
to
best
ask?
little life. Do you guys get any like? No, okay, they don't know they're serving a dragon, do they?
You totally bought it when Cobalt was like, "Dragon, what are you talking about? There's just Nax."
No.
But then it, like Ashrin totally pointed out that Nax was just short for Tyrannaxis. And he pretty openly spoke about things during lunch, and there were kobolds nearby, so more than likely they knew. Like in hindsight, you're
Okay.
like, oh, he was lying. Gotcha.
Okay. Then I'm going to. Yeah, like, hey girl, hey. Do you get any like cool dragon weapons or anything here?
And dragon weapons?
Or item, I don't know, like a dragon tooth dagger or like a cool a dragon pendant. I don't know. I'm just trying to like praise Tiamat more or whatever.
Oh,
And so I feel like I need more dragon regalia.
gotcha. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't really. Let me think if there's anything. There were. Well, that was the old cult. There are some things like a couple of the cultists back in the day really weren't listening and didn't really take no for an answer when Nax was like, "I don't want to be in your stupid cult," and I don't want to be an undead dragon. And so their stuff is still here. The bodies are long since disposed of, but they're
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, that might interest you. It's not necessarily Tiamat though. It's more like Draco Lich weirdness.
Ooh, no, that's just kind of cool.
I mean, some of their armor was pretty cool. It's like all like weird bone looking things and stuff. It was maybe a little big for you, but
I still want to check it out. That's pretty dope.
sure. I've got some time. Let's just follow me.
Okay.
He leads you
Going
through the
on
complex,
an
and there's
adventure.
the storerooms that you've been in, and he leads you past that, and there's like, it reminds you of like a Lost and Found. There's just like random things strewn throughout this large walk-in closet sized room. As you head in, you see robes and different pieces of armor, some weapons that are pretty plain looking, but they're in fairly good repair. You notice there are some of the insignias of the Cult of the Dragon, like either an amulet form or like pieces that you mount onto your armor. There's like a helmet. A lot of them are very like, we're gonna say grotesque compared to what the current Cult of the Dragon wears. Very necromantic looking.
Okay. Wow, this is all pretty cool. I mean, nothing I would wear personally, but this is neat.
I mean,
I'm gonna roll.
we haven't cleaned out this closet in some time. If you have any interest in any of it, feel free to take it. It's not, no one has placed dibs on it. It's kind of gathering dust, if I'm being honest.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna roll investigation.
Okay.
See if I find anything cool. Ooh,
Nice.
that is a 20, a dirty, filthy, draconic lich 20.
Love it. As you're looking through, one of those amulets has definitely weathered time much more than others in a way that makes you feel that it is possibly enchanted.
Ooh. Hey, this is neat. So, I hold it up. So you don't care if, like, I take this then?
Oh no, it's all yours. You can have the whole room if you'd like. Save us some work later on, when one of us, when Nax
Sweet.
reminds us to come down and clean this room out.
So above table, I might have clicked. I don't remember if I took identify because I changed it last session, but I don't remember if I changed that before we had the long rest,
Oh, gotcha.
or if I changed it like in preparation for the long rest.
You can have it. I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Identify on this
Well then,
as a ritual spell. So that'll take me 11
Nice.
minutes.
Nice.
let's see. You find that This amulet gives you undead have disadvantage to attack.
Ooh.
You while you're wearing it, not just like generally speaking. If you were to be able to cast like control undead type spells, this also gives you it would be, if I remember right, it would give them disadvantage on their saving throws. So like if there were like a vampire that you were trying to control and you would have a save, then they have disadvantage on that save. So it gives you, it kind of helps bolster your power against undead.
Cool. Yeah, Lemon Zest, I don't think will have any abilities like that. It sounds something more for a cleric or a paladin.
Or a necromancer.
Probably. Or a necromancer. Yeah, I am a fiend warlock, so I don't think that would
Oh,
do. Yeah, so
Sounds
Asher and
great.
Ash, what
you won't be on
what
video
class
for
are you?
very long.
I am an order paladin. Or sorry,
Okay,
Oath of
yeah.
Conquest. Oath of Conquest, which I'm looking up if I'm gonna get any of those kinds of spells in a second.
Oh,
I
you
feel like I
lucky
missed those
girl.
Let's see. Go to builder.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
We're on the
warlock spells. Oh, it's not going to tell me what spells I can get in the future. Is it?
Well, while
No,
you figure
I'm
this
not gonna
out,
get anything with undead. I get dominate
Uh,
beast and stuff eventually, but
What about your holy whatever ability?
it's a fear ability.
Okay.
Yeah, it's conquering presence. So it makes a bunch of people scared around me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I'm probably not gonna get anything unless at some point we all figure out that Tiamat coming back is actually going to destroy us, and I become a broken oath paladin. Then I get a shit ton of undead stuff. But we'll see what happens.
Okay, warlock spells.
I'm going to have you do that
Uh,
while we go back to Aster.
yeah, I don't think I get anything.
And Aster, as you were sitting there waiting, Cobalt comes back and brings you, it's like a fairly decent sized vial of this purple dust.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit down at a blank table, and I've got like my little satchel of bits and bobs, bottles and ointments and all kinds of things. Lay everything out, and I'm going to start sciencing. I'm going to science
Sure.
little beakers and I don't have to use a lot of it. I just need little bits here and there, but I'm going to start the science process to see if I can figure out how this thing works. And then ask Cobalt to tell me, to give me his knowledge, so I don't have to find it out the hard way. If
Gotcha.
I can have any easy aspect to this, I would like that.
So yeah, the main gist of it is you have to cook it for, at least, it depends on what temperature. If you get it to a boil at, in whatever liquid for about 10 minutes, it loses that kind of like punch you in the reality effect, and just kind of starts enhancing things instead. But there's just something to it that we haven't quite unlocked yet.
Aster is going to try like a little distilling process with it.
Okay.
And ask the Cobalt to bring her just accoutrement for distillation.
Sure.
Sweet.
Why don't we do a nature check?
Like, really,
Oh.
does Aster know the best way
Right?
to handle this? I mean,
Can I give her the help action by like basically taking a little bit myself and casting detect poison and disease on it. Because if it's a narcotic, that's kind of a type of poison.
True. Are either of you trained in Arcana?
1 second. No, I'm not.
I mean, I wouldn't say trained.
It's on my sheet. So let's see. As you all spend some time with it and kind of listening to Cobalt and what he's told you so far, Asherin uses her magic to kind of get an idea of what kind of poison this is, and it's definitely like a mind affecting poison. It's not going to harm you physically, but it is going to be a journey of learning this. You can see now at the end of this, let's say you've spent about an hour with it. At the end of this hour, you're just not any closer to unlocking its secrets than what Cobalt has told you so far. You're not really sure. You've mixed it with some things. You've like applied some alcohol, and you've run it through some different distillations and such, and it's just, you're not sure yet.
I'd like to channel my divinity energy towards this whole thing. I'm gonna sit
Hey, wait,
down.
you've got-
Huh?
What class are you? You're druid?
No,
Nature cleric.
I'm a nature cleric.
Okay, can you learn any like with channel divinity?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, would that
Yeah.
pendant
You're
give
undead?
you or give everybody disadvantage when you do your turn undead?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would. It would.
Oh, then yeah, that's who it should go to.
cool.
Okay.
It's for you. Yeah, there we
Thank
go.
you. I'm gonna look at it. It's shiny. Just-
Yeah. Well, I haven't given it to you yet. But
Yeah,
I'll-
so-
we'll get there.
About
Yeah.
about the end of this
Okay,
hour
okay.
that you've spent, that Asherin and Aster have spent doing this, Chris comes back. His bag slightly heavier than it was. Lemon Zest strolls in with this bone amulet, and you all regroup.
Hey, I got you this bone amulet. I mean, I found it. It doesn't feel like it's anything I can use because I can't do anything against undead. But
Ah, it's so
pretty
beautiful.
sure you can.
Look at the
Yeah.
bones. It kind of goes with the bones that like the earrings that I have. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
gonna.
really hope it's not cursed. It
Put it-
shouldn't be. I would have detected that with identify, but just in case. Just in
Thank you
case,
for looking
never
out.
know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not that much headway on this special spice. We're trying to figure out to unlock its mysteries to be able to cook with it a little bit better, and still
gimme.
hitting some walls. And I'm going to hand some spice over.
Okay, I'm going to cast identify on it.
Okay.
Ritual.
So it doesn't necessarily have a name. It's not like a named dust or anything like that. However, you do find it is somewhat magical in nature. Less magic, more. Actually, I don't even know if identify would do anything on this. Hang on.
Oh, that's fair.
Do. 5e identify. It's being quite slow. I apologize. Hang on one sec.
How dare.
It is not magic imbued. It does not need attunement. At the end of your ritual, no knowledge is imparted to you about
Yeah.
this. It does appear to be a completely natural effect.
Oh, all right. No, can't figure it out.
Lost cause. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I'd be more helpful, but
No, I think
no.
I could be wrong, but I think legend lore is the one that
What we need.
right.
Great, good.
Don't
We'll,
have.
we'll come back in a couple years.
Right.
Aster is going because she doesn't like not knowing. So she needs to do something she knows well with to like clear her mind. So Aster is going to take a little bit of this spice and just make like candies with it.
Okay.
Just because she knows it so well, she's just going to make some candy with it and clear her mind while she's doing it.
It is really weird that legend lore, which essentially like gives you just like basic information about things. Like it can be like, oh, where there was this grand tale about it, but that one's level 5, whereas identify, which like tells you exactly what a magic item does, is much lower. Anyway, so with that, while Aster's making these candies, what are you all doing?
I'm gonna go back and search more from that. I'm not gonna find anything else in that room, am I? Didn't
No,
think so.
you spend a good amount of time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and there are items in there that you could technically take for the Hoard, as far as it being worth something, because you just like you were stealing furniture and people's like kitchen utensils when you were in Greenest, so most everything in there has a value. But whether or not you want to truck around like a cart full of clothes and odd bits and ends of armor and weapons is up to you.
And none of us have a bag of holding, do we? That's disappointing. That should be my number.
I mean,
one.
that was you once upon a
so that should
time.
be
Right?
mine.
What's the time? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I did have that once upon a time. Curses.
So we all know what happened
Curses.
to that. Kaboom!
Curses Tiamat. Curses.
Curse you, Tiamat! Take away my bag of holding.
Okay. I don't really know. I guess I'm just gonna like lounge around the kitchen too and see if I can assist in any way.
Okay.
Like with the making of the candy.
So, Chris, what are you up to?
I take it there's probably not anything else to steal in here.
I mean, there are a lot of things, but whether or not they're like things that you feel are worth stealing is
Right.
a little more up to you. If you're looking for things of value, for a dragon's lair, are you wandering around? Or did you kind
Not
of like...
currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far you haven't really seen anything. You haven't seen this dragon's hoard. You're not even sure, after talking with Nax, you're not even sure he really... Because he talked about, like, giving the old cult of the dragon the gold that might be laying around. You're like, well, where's his hoard? You haven't seen any sign of something like that.
Right.
So there are a lot of... You've definitely stolen from different towns. For the Hoard, anyway, you've taken things that were of less monetary value than like his cookware and stuff. But a lot of the cookware is like being used and stuff. As you were kind of like lingering around as Aster is making these candies, there is this conversation that you pick up every so often of where did this set of knives go? But other than like, you're not really seeing anything that's worth stealing.
Okay. I guess I'll look around to see if there's like any sort of indications there's a hoard somewhere.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right. $11.
You're not really... As you walk around, you see the the tunnels and everything, the different rooms that you'd been shown. Some of them you do head down, and like there are some other dormitories, there are some other storerooms, but it seems all for like food and or the kobold stuff. You don't see any sign of a horde.
All right, I guess I will go back and hang out defeated.
Okay. And Asherin, what are you up to while Aster's making these candies?
Asherin really like has no idea how to help with the cooking, but I think like in like a desperate attempt at this point, because they've been kind of at it for a while, she takes a little bit of the dust and tries to cast command and just be like, taste better.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. Do you then put the uncooked dust in your mouth?
No,
Okay,
that I just
okay.
hand it to Aster, and I'm like, maybe that helps.
Gotcha,
I
okay.
don't know.
So after being imbued with the divine might of Tiamat, you hand this dust to Aster, who uses
Yeah.
it to make...
Like maybe if I yell at it, it'll get better.
Right.
I don't know.
So, Della, I'm going to have you do either a nature or a medicine check to do your candies, since you
Fabulous.
kind of use your stuff for... Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you use your stuff for medicinal purposes sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So... Did you use your typical lozenge recipe, or did you change it to...
I changed it a little bit. So I did a typical lozenge, because this is also a little scientific, like with any cooking, we're just going to science it. We've got one, just a regular straight up lozenge recipe. And then we have like a yummy kind of a paste, sort of like the Mexican candy that I forget the name of, that's
Right.
kind of like a paste that's really tart. So that kind of consistency. And then we've got like a little, like a granola bar type of situation going
Gotcha.
on with it. So just to kind of get an idea of like how it's working with these different things.
And who's eating those?
Nobody yet.
So at the end, they look about the same. There is definitely like a shimmer that has imbued into the ones that you use the dust in. And in fact, in things that are not liquid, like the granola bars, the shimmer does still seem to move, as though it is magical, but still not magical.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to just call out to a kobold, like, hey, you over there, can you come over here for a second and just sort of taste test these for me? I mean, they're used to eating this stuff, right? Yeah, you. Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah.
This little green kobold that, like, very green scales, almost hard to notice the purple that has permanently stained into, like, the crevices, heads over. What?
Well, I created these items using some of the purple dust, and I was just curious if you could give me kind of your educated taste test, since I know you guys kind of eat this stuff. Like my colleagues, they haven't had any, and I had maybe too much at a point because I had never had it before. So I really need someone that has a better taste palette just to test this out for me. You can just lick them if you want. That's okay.
Oh, yeah, hang on a sec. He runs over. See, he gets like a pitcher of water out of, like, he takes like a glass pitcher and scoops from like a barrel. Sorry, my brain turned off. Comes over, he like takes a drink, swishes it, spits it on the floor, and tries the first one. Interesting. And then he like takes it out, sets it on like a napkin, takes a swig of water, takes the next one that is the spice imbued one, and we'll say this is the lozenges, and puts it in his mouth. Hmm? Hmm. Hmm. Kind of loses some of the lemoniness of that first one, but is replaced with kind of this weird, um, I want to call it onion flavor, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's not really what I was expecting. And he takes it and sets it down, rinses out his mouth, moves on to the pace, goes on for a bit. Each one, he expresses that they taste equally as good, but different from one another.
Oh, you're so helpful. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn around and look at everybody and just shake my head. Like, I think I need to see the one who must not be named and her process. I think I need to see that. I'm going to, as the little guy is kind of like maybe leaving, just be like, hey, do you know where she who must not be named lives?
Of course.
Could you draw us a map, please?
I guess? Do a persuasion check? Nice. Just don't let anyone know I gave this to you. And he like grabs one of those napkins and he pulls out some charcoal and begins. You get the feeling like they do this a lot, where they're like taking notes on things. Writes, essentially draws out a very rough version of what you had seen walking up to this area. He draws the dome. He draws the ridge that you all came down from, and it's all on like one bottom half of the map, and then he draws like off to the northeast from you, and there is maybe that's a hut. You're not really 100% sure what it's supposed to be. He's like, yeah, you can find her there, unless she's already left for the competition.
Ah, okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too.
And then I don't know what Aster, like, I don't know what she's going to do with that, but she's got a cool drawing. Hey, you guys.
What does everybody think?
So, this goes to where?
Well, I mean, we could say Nax's lover or soon to be lover. I really would like to see how she handles her spice. Just to learn.
Looking at the map, how far away is it?
Make a survival check.
Okay. Once again, should not be the person doing this. That's not terrible. 13.
So you're looking at it, you don't really feel like it's necessarily to scale. Even just like the ridge is slightly out of like to scale, like it's a little larger in scale than the dome and stuff like that. So you're guessing you could probably get there in a few hours based on this map, but you're not 100% sure on that.
Got it. Hmm.
And it's about mid-afternoon at this point.
When is the competition?
In 2 days.
So we've got the time.
Do we want to try heading out to this location in the morning? Or do you want to go now?
You do remember that tomorrow is all for transferring everything from here to the kitchen in Neverwinter. So there was like so there'll be less time tomorrow to come up with new recipe things.
I mean, it's hard to say if she's even going to be there at this point, but it might be worth a try tonight, and then maybe we could nap and then get ourselves ready for this big competition.
We always ask her at the location how she works with the spice.
Yes, we
Potentially.
could. We could.
Or if she's not even in her kitchen, you could potentially inspect the kitchen and see if there's remnants of anything that gives you any clues, I suppose.
What do you all think? What are Chris and Lemonzest feelings about all of this?
I mean, I'm cool traveling the few hours to figure things out.
Yeah, and if she's not there, we can help ourselves.
It's a very solid point.
As Chris is like cleaning his fingernails with this new knife that you've never seen before.
Right, maybe she's
Yeah,
got her own
that's a sweet
hoard.
knife.
Yeah, I found it lying around.
Nice. I tried to find a cool knife lying around too, so I found an amulet.
Thank you, by the way.
It's
It's
a pretty
really
cool amulet. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
So what do you all think?
I mean, not that I really need a knife. I can just spam Eldritch Blast, but
I just have my
Kinda
warlock
sounds like
button.
we're heading over, I think.
All right, so
like a quick jaunt.
as you head out, is there anything preparation-wise that you want to do?
I mean, I've long rested, so I've got everything I need.
Okay.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
running low on spell slots, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Is that a
have we
short
long
rest or a
rested
long
by this
resting?
point?
I don't think so.
For those who have been casting spell slots throughout today, a long rest has not happened.
Yeah.
As far as like healing up and anything that might have happened before, that has definitely happened.
Well, then
Is-
maybe we should rest.
Are
Yeah, we should rest then.
So we want to rest and then go over in the morning when she's probably has already left, and then just inspect the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find
Sounds good
something
to me.
valuable.
all right. So Cobalt has showed you a dormitory that had cots large enough for the larger humanoids. You head that direction and decide to take a rest, or you can linger about whatever it is that you want to do throughout the rest of the day. But as long as you don't do anything to interrupt it, your long rest can occur.
Cool.
So that does put your long rest
Woohoo.
ending kind of the middle of the night. Is there anything that you would like to do, or are you waiting till morning to leave?
I guess if we go in the middle of the night, then we have cover of darkness,
Yeah.
more
I think we
espionage.
better leave.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then we'll get
We
there
could
like
go in the middle
right
of
in
the
the
night.
morning. Yeah.
Sounds like we're heading out.
Do, 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 do.
Okay, so as you slip out under the cover of darkness, are you doing so stealthily? Are you trying to hide from the dragon and his kobolds?
I don't think we're. I mean, I didn't think we were hiding from Nax and the kobolds, but
Okay.
when we get closer to the place, I would assume we would be stealthy.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
about everybody
I'll
else,
just
but-
leave a note that says "Be right back."
And just like stick it on the wall or something, put it on your pillow.
Mhm.
Okay, so the four of you head out, kind of guiding yourself by the moon and the stars, guessing like distances based on this kind of cruddy map that the Kobold made you. I'm gonna need someone to do a... Sorry, I just escaped my brain. Survival check.
Not
Okay, are any of us good at survival? I have a
No, I don't think any of us are.
I'm proficient in survival, but
Okay.
my
Oh, there we go.
wisdom
Okay.
is not very high, so
It's better than ours.
Yeah, mine's a -1. Are you better than that?
yes.
Yeah. Then it's
Uh,
all
nice.
you.
I got an 18.
So you're handed
Hey.
this... Chris, you're handed this napkin. On the napkin are some smudges, because it was written in charcoal and it's kind of like been smudged about a little bit, that you recognize to be the dome and the ridge that you came in from. So you have at least like a direction. You have some arrows and like what is probably a hut or something. There's not a lot else that really guides you. However, you do get a fairly strong sense of what direction to go. And it's about an hour and a half later that you notice a dim glow in the distance. Looks like either firelight or candlelight or something. It's hard to tell from where you are and the distance between you. If you're moving towards this light stealthily, this is where we'll need to do a group stealth check.
Okay. Are we moving stealthily? I would say that we are.
Stealth, 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 stealth. I
Oh.
have disadvantage.
As my heavy armor's like clink,
Right.
clink, clink.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
That's a
everybody
13.
did better than me, mostly, and I'm the one that's
Right?
actually trained
You do
in
better than
stuff.
the rogue.
All right,
I got a
so
15.
you do notice
13
every
is
so often the hissing noise of sand like scraping against Aster's plate or armor. Every so often a couple of you stumble in the unsure footing. You're not making a ton of noise, but you are not super quiet as you approach what appears to be a large it looks like there was a hut at one point. And from that hut spawned multiple extensions onto this building. Some are built off to the side, some are built above it. There are outdoor staircases. Some of them you can't see staircases at all, so they must be inside. Candles glow in many of the windows. In the main hut, you can also see a fireplace, a fairly large fireplace, is illuminating the room. You can see pretty obviously there are many tracks around the building, and every so often a silhouette will walk by a window.
What does the silhouette look like?
It's fairly decent sized humanoid. Hard to tell just from where you are and the lack of light that's like on it. I'm gonna give you that. That's pretty much what you see.
Okay.
I will also say you smell something divine. It's maybe a baked good. Reminds you somewhat of cinnamon rolls, but I will say Aster can tell there's something not quite cinnamon rolly about it.
It's gotta be her. Just smell that in the air. It has to be her. I just want to be able to see in that window. Aster is going to take her heavy armor plates off and leave them in a nice, neat little pile.
Okay.
We're
So-
going to do it.
It does take you about 10 minutes to do so.
Okay.
As you
Okay.
are removing your armor, you do notice, you don't notice, but can't remember who has the highest perception.
Mine is.
I only have an 11 for passive.
Wow, you all have the same passive, I think.
Mine is 13.
Oh, you have a 13. For some reason, I was thinking yours was also 11.
Maybe-
Okay, so Chris is the one who
Maybe I'll take the
notices
observant feat.
from one of the upper windows, a bat-winged form emerges. It's small, somewhat humanoid, although it has a tail. It flutters around, seems to be carrying a sack of something. It seems to struggle against the weight as it slowly descends, trying to keep it in control. And through a side window that you couldn't quite see, but unless it like morphed through the wall, it flies into the larger hut beyond. You see it kind of through a window, it flies by slowly, and then that's all you see of it.
Alright, well, I will tell that to everyone else and see what they make of it.
Okay.
Do we catch like the do we see it at all? Like as he points it out?
Yeah, so if
or-
he points it out, you do notice. Sorry, if they do point it out, then you notice the batwing form. There's a little bit of moonlight, but it's not really enough to illuminate it much, and it is too far away for your dark vision to like give you more details.
Okay.
It did not notice you, however, even though you're standing there taking off your armor.
Amazing. Okay.
If we were
what-
to, oh, sorry, you go.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If we were to get a better look at it, I could potentially disguise myself.
Like that? Like the bat thing? That would be amazing. Aster's thinking she's just gonna look through the window, so just to be able to watch the process.
Gotcha.
This could be such a bad idea.
Gonna be
As I see
fine.
Aster walking up, I'm going to use what the heck is it called? Shape shadows and cast invisibility on her.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing.
So, Aster, now that you are not at disadvantage for your armor, and you have advantage for being invisible, go ahead and roll another stealth check. You can just push the button and we'll take the higher of what you... Okay, 14.
Oh boy. I was hoping it would be so much better than that.
What could go wrong? I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Like, hey, you, what are you doing out there?
Right?
Nothing, I'm just moonbathing, half naked. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so Aster, you tiptoe closer to this building. The sense of cooking and baking kind of mingling. You get the feeling there are multiple things. The cinnamon roll smell definitely was the strongest that carried out to where you were. Inside, the first thing you notice are there are ovens, like multiple plural ovens that are all baking away. You notice several of these batwing creatures. Some are kind of human looking, although maybe a little misshapen. Their wings very stunted is probably the best word to use here. They do have wings, but they don't seem to be, they're almost like vestigial instead of natural or like useful. You also notice several imps moving around, some quasits, several different fiendish creatures that are moving around, placing ingredients into cauldrons, stirring things. And in the center of the room, kind of guiding all of this, moving back and forth, is a figure. I'm going to have you head over to Roll20. This figure seems to be female, fairly tall, well built, but kind of lithe. Her
God.
thick braided hair is pulled back and is just like dusted. You can see the movement of the dust, of the purple dust moving through it. Her sandy skin is just marked with various stains of purple. She has a large, what you would say a cookbook, on one side of her, like connected to one hip. There are various vials, some that glow, some that just seem to swirl about. And on the other hip, she has what looks like a large... You're not sure if it's a knife, like a cooking knife, or like a dagger like you would expect like Chris to use as a weapon. She's muttering something you can't quite hear. What do you do?
I mean, all of this is super intriguing. I just, can I tell if she is actively going to be working with the spice at all?
Her fingers are like stained with it. There's definitely like bits of it that are spread out. You can see pots that have spice in them as far as the cooking, because you've come to recognize that movement that it takes on once it's heated up. It's almost like if you were to put oil in water with glitter is kind of the best way to describe it.
Okay. I think Aster wants to hang out and just keep watching for
Sure.
a little bit longer and see if she can catch any part of the process of her starting something from maybe not scratch, but like when she's incorporating the spice, and to see at what point the spice is being added. Does she do anything with it? Is it a heated thing? Like at what point it's being put in?
I'm going to have you do 2 rolls. One is going to be a perception check,
Let's see here.
and the second will be an insight check. Actually, do your perception first. Oh.
I know nothing. I know nothing.
Wow.
Ooh, sad
Wow.
advantage. You didn't have advantage on that, but rolled 2 1s. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. She might be
That's
cooking.
insane.
There is so much movement in the room. It
my
is
God.
difficult to see what's going on. I am going to have you do an insight check at disadvantage.
Oh my gosh.
It is
I know
there.
nothing. I
There
know
are so many pots and pans and things happening that you are not sure what's going on. You start to lose. It's almost like watching trying to think of the
like
best
the
way to
Blair
explain
Witch
this.
Project, where everything's all sketchy.
Right? Yeah,
Makes you
you just lose track of things. It's hard to tell. This takes some time
Okay.
as you're doing this. So
okay.
while this time is passing, what are Chris and Lemon Zest and Ashrin up to? Are you just kind of waiting, or...
Are any of these creatures leaving the main area?
I feel like every so often you would see one fly out a window and head up to a different window and come carrying something back, almost similar to how the kobolds were carrying things from various pantries in different hallways. This has had pantries and different storerooms attached to it in, as far as you can tell, a completely haphazard kind of way.
Okay, the minute I'm like able to get a better look at one of them, I'm gonna go ahead and use disguise self to turn into one of them.
Can you turn into not a humanoid with disguise self?
That's a great question. 1 second. I can seem 1 foot shorter or taller. I can't change my body type though.
Right.
So I have to adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs.
How tall are you?
It's a great question. I don't think I ever wrote down how tall she was.
You're like, I'm
Let's
3
say
feet
she
tall.
is. I'd say she's probably like 5'7",
Okay.
probably.
So you could definitely make yourself smaller. You're not sure that this magic would do what you're thinking. Like, you can't use it to
Okay.
disguise yourself as an imp, for example.
Mm-hmm. Then never mind. Is there any opportunity for me to try and kidnap one of these guys?
You could try. Tell me how that would go, or
I know,
how you would
they
attempt
can.
it.
Tell
And
us
rem-
your secrets.
And remember, you have Lemon Zest and Chris to help you. So if you
Yeah.
wanted their help to do so, how would that help?
Okay. My only other thought on how we could potentially do this is if we grab one of them and then I could command them to tell us how they extract the flavor from the spice.
Wait, do you think that maybe it's as simple as like cooking the spice first?
Aster was working with it quite a bit and wasn't able to figure it out, so...
So I've lost Janelle on video, but I'm seeing video still coming through OBS. Janelle, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, can you guys
Okay,
not
you're
hear
back.
me?
Well, now we can.
There was a dropout, but you're back.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
But yeah, she would say, right, Asta was working with it quite a bit and wasn't able to figure it out, so I don't know.
How would you all like to try and grab one of these imps? Or
Well, do we think it's a good idea to grab one of the imps and then have
Fair.
me command it to tell us the cooking secrets? Or do we not want to go the aggressive route?
So where are we in relation to this lady, I guess? is
Yeah.
my
I assume we're like a couple feet back and Aster just went off on her own, right?
that was my assumption.
Well, I don't think we have much to lose, so...
That's fair.
Do either of you have any way of subduing one of these creatures without a lot of noise?
Are they... Do they count as humanoids?
You don't think so?
Okay, well
Yeah.
then no.
No.
'Cause I do have a charm person, but they're not a person, so...
Oh,
Same.
yeah. Does it command
Yeah.
even work on them? Hold on. Okay, mine's just a creature you can see within range.
Mine specifies humanoid, so...
And I will say you'll have to be very creative with your command because it is the most
it's one
interesting yet useless spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aye. Hmm.
What do y'all think?
Um.
Mhm.
So much uncertainty. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do we support the love story between these two people? Or
I am pretty
do.
sure that some of you have at least fanficked already.
Yeah.
Wait, I could use disguise self to look like Tyrannaxis, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how that helps us, but it seems more doable.
By confessing your love.
I feel like that is absolutely a thing you can do.
He would be
Oh my
so
God,
mad
that
at
would be
us. He'd be so mad at us.
He was. It would be great to get Jeremy to figure out his response to that.
Right?
I mean,
don't
do we
be
need
freaking
like
out.
little notes that are like, if you want to see me, like junior high notes, you know? What are
Check
those
yes or no.
called?
Circle yes or no.
Yeah.
We can just bring in a slip of paper that says that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
Oh
we're from
my
Tier
God.
Nexus, and we've got this note we were supposed to deliver to you.
Yeah. Just walk up like nobody's,
Yeah.
no
but
worries.
then that's gonna make her like be suspicious of him, and the whole point is that he like did not want
No,
us to
no.
cheat at all.
True.
I mean, it's got to be subtle. Like, I really admire your talent. And then it would hit her in the heart. She'd be like, oh, I know who this is from. Or we just go in guns blazing and we take the cookbook.
Ooh, do we want to try and steal the cookbook? Is that
The love story's so good.
I
that
could
feels
steal the
too
cookbook.
cheaty.
What's stealing the cookbook?
well? We
Yeah.
just need to look at it, right? We don't need to steal
Yeah.
it permanently.
Yeah.
We just need
Does
like
anyone have a little spy camera so we can take a picture?
I don't. That's, you know what? That's not something that I have in my head.
It's not in your Cultists of the Dragon
It's not.
kit.
Yeah, we just need to spy it. Like, Aster knows enough about cooking.
Oh.
She can get through that
I have an
quick.
idea.
Okay.
They've mentioned that this whole thing is like a Neverwinter cooking competition, right?
Mhm.
Can I? Who's in charge of Neverwinter at this point in time?
So Lord Neverember is the ruler of it.
Okay,
You're not really sure who's in charge of this cooking competition, though. You never did find out.
that's fine. Didn't Tyrannaxis say he talked to Lord
He did.
Neverember about the bracelet?
Yep. For those who couldn't fit or couldn't shapeshift, yep.
Is that a big enough political figure that Asherin would know what they look like?
Do a history check.
It's gonna go bad, everybody.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Please be good. Never mind. It was a fun idea in theory.
And on that
I rolled a
zero,
1
right?
with my -1 history modifier is a 0, so never mind.
Never remember what?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're not. Who is Lord Neverember?
Okay.
Let alone what he looks like.
Okay. Damn it, that would have been good.
There was a troll that you heard of once that was called something like that. That maybe that's who they're talking about. I don't know. What do you all think?
Y'all, I'm real stumped.
I will say so. About enough time has passed for Aster watching. One thing that you've started to notice, however, there are imps and there are quasits moving around. However, those ones with the kind of stumped wings, they don't seem quite natural. There's something strange about them, and you're trying to catch like glimpses of them so that they're a little more clear. So every so often you like kind of move to a different window or something like that. You're peering through, and it hits you that they're quite humanoid looking, almost like somebody took their normal shape and kind of mushed it down in a haphazard kind of way, in a not really paying attention to things like, sorry, the word escaped me.
I mean, like normal anatomy.
Right. And like, oh my gosh, what is it called? Anyway, we're going to skip that word. Yeah, it seems like these maybe were people, and they're aware, but seem very rigid in their movement, almost like they've been commanded using magic to do things, as opposed to whereas the quasits and the imps are moving around of their own volition. Kind of, you're not 100% sure on how. Actually, I'll have you do an Arcana check. I know you're not skilled in it, but we'll just see. Holy crap, you rolled a 19. Perfect. You've seen magic that makes people do things not necessarily against their will, but like that they didn't choose to do. And therefore, oh, hey, Insomnia Night RPG, thanks for coming in. And for all of the advantages, Chris, you have an advantage. Ashrin, you have an advantage. Aster, you have an advantage.
Nice.
Lemon Zest has an advantage. Sorry, I was scrolling to make sure I didn't miss it.
Double
make sure-
advantage.
Yeah, make sure you mark those off and
I don't know how to
use
mark
it. Oh,
those.
and I get an advantage. Thank you. So as you watch this, you get the feeling that maybe these were people that have been somehow transformed and are serving in this kitchen. Trying to think of the best way to say this, because I don't want to necessarily say against their will, but maybe not of their own free will, as opposed to the other creatures you see.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to head back to be with everybody else and kind of let them know what I just saw.
Okay.
That there might be there might be a spell that's cast currently that's actively working to have these guys doing her bidding, and and see what we can decide on. Meanwhile, maybe writing a little note on the side that really does say, like, I really admire your cooking.
Amazing.
You always do such a great job with a heart, but not signed.
Is the I like a lowercase I with a heart as the dot?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like
Perfect.
a little, kind of like a little dragon, you know, like emblem, sort of, on the upper right.
Love it. All right, so as you all watch this building, or this maybe combination of buildings, and the chaos that seems to be unfolding inside, as she who will not be named apparently preps for tomorrow at this point. It is early morning, so tomorrow's cooking competition. We're going to call it there and give you some time to think about what you'd like to do, and we would be ending in a few minutes anyway, so I think this is a perfect time. Why don't we take a few minutes to throw out anything that you all are doing coming up in the next week or so? If there's anything.
Yes. Let me find out what channel this is on real quick. I'm pretty sure on Sword and Key, I will be Why can I not find anything for the life of me. Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on Sword and Key this Friday at 1 p.m. I will be playing Woodland Gods,
Nice. I'm gonna have to
where
go
I
check
get
that
to
out.
play a fox who is in a cult.
I feel like it's
Fun.
if you imagine Cult of the Lamb as a TTRPG, that's kind of
Oh,
what it
that
is.
sounds fun.
It's so freaking adorable and creepy and cute.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then next Monday, of course, on Talking XP, we have Ravenloft Misfits
Yay.
at 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central. And then, this Friday we may or may not be having a special secret stream late at night on Roll D5. I don't know.
A secret stream.
Secret stream.
Yeah.
Well, the lemon's out of the bag. Now
I guess. I don't know. It's just gonna. We don't.
You heard it
it's
here
gonna be
first.
Later at night. Really, we're just doing it for kicks because we've got some free time.
nice.
That's if we do a super secret. I don't know.
I mean, maybe tune in just in case.
Gorilla stream. Yeah,
Right?
I don't know. Just have like your alerts on Twitch, and for us to go live. I don't know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Janelle, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a kind of busy week next week. So this Sunday, the 20th, we're gonna be doing Fey Dark Eclipse Team Shadowfell on the Boss Jellybean channel, and then on Monday, the 21st, we're doing the Widow's Web, which is gonna be 8 different Drow characters competing in a gladiator style gauntlet. And then on Thursday, the 24th, I'm going to be doing another Fey Dark Eclipse, but with Team Feywild. So got like 3 bigger streams next week.
Nice. Is that all on your channel?
Yeah.
Let me throw that up here. Not throw
So
that up.
Check it out.
Put that up. No throwing up. Not on screen. Okay, so awesome. Thank you all for joining today. We're going to raid in just a moment, but before we do, hey, Miko, welcome right at the end of all things. I'm glad to be here with you, Miko, here at the end of all things. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Next week, I got to double check this because I don't know what day it is. I know that
23rd.
on the 26th, we have a Waste Walkers one-shot coming up, so tune in for that. It is a, I'm not going to say that it's Fallout, but it's Fallout inspired by Fari RPGs. That's going to be awesome. This weekend, actually this Friday, not to be at the same time as anything that may secretly be happening over at our Roll D5, but we might be playing Daggerheart at 8 p.m.
Oh no,
Tune in
that'd
for
be
that.
like late at like
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
10
So we'll
p.m.
end up
Eastern,
rating you. It's
or
going to be
11 p.m.
perfect.
Eastern.
Yeah, perfect. So tune in for Daggerheart on Wednesday, on Friday, and then Saturday we have our every other week Hunter the Reckoning game, Bad Blood. Tune in for that at 8 p.m. as well. Halloween, we have a Curseborn one shot. Curseborn is currently on Kickstarter by Onyx Path. They are ending on Halloween. Unfortunately, they're ending at 2 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern, which means that we'll be playing right after. Well, not right after. It is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is going to be a fun time no matter what, and we'll share their backer kit, which will probably come up right after their Kickstarter. Think World of Darkness, but they have gone in their own direction. I don't know if you know this, Onyx Path does a bunch of World of Darkness stuff over the years, and so they have their own thing now. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for joining today. We're going to raid, so hang out, and thank you all for playing today. It was a pleasure. See ya.
Bye.